Netflix wants to know exactly who is watching their streaming service. The company says it's considering limiting how users share their passwords. Nothing official yet, but this mere suggestion has sent panic and fear through most of my producers, most of whom are still using their parents' accounts. Netflix executives said they're looking for customer-friendly ways to crack down on account sharing. Are you going to admit publicly, never mind Netflix, any account, any streaming, Spotify, newspaper, magazine, where you pay or somebody else pays and you log on at cnn.com/join. I think we've got a load of honest people, or I don't know, 55% of you say you do not share passwords. Brian Stelter is with me in New York. Brian, why is Netflix doing this?
I think Netflix is paying very close attention to this because it's getting a little bit harder for Netflix to grow. Actually, it's getting a lot harder for Netflix to grow in the United States because it's so tapped out, and it's getting harder to grow around the world as well. And so it makes sense for Netflix to pay attention to this issue. It is notable, Richard, the reaction to the mere suggestion that Netflix is going to think about doing something. You know, there's the comment on the recent earnings call was, we continue to monitor it. We're looking at the situation. We've got no big plans to announce in terms of doing something differently. But just the notion that they're thinking about it did cause a ruckus. And I can understand why. It actually speaks to the power and the prominence of Netflix that this matters so much to people.
But it's not just Netflix. I mean, I share somebody's Spotify. I know at least a few people who might have used my ft.com account.
I was going to say, give it up for newspapers. My mom just emailed me 2 days ago asking for my Washington Post login. Now, some of these sites do have family sharing options, so there's some level that it's okay to be sharing. But I think the reality is, when you're giving away your Netflix password or your FT password to a dozen people, then you are starting to get into a situation where those companies could be making more money than they are. And I'm surprised we only have 53% of people saying yes, they share accounts. I suspect everybody's done it once or twice.
Oh, I suspect they're still doing it. Certainly, even the Questman's business office is anything to go by. Streaming, the various streaming services are now virtually ready to launch.
Right.
HBO's there, Disney's there, everybody's there. I mean, who knows what Verizon and all those lot are going to do. I mean, they seem to have got lost somewhere down the road. Who do you like the look of the most in terms of as a business model?
I was speaking with Netflix executives in Hollywood yesterday. They feel like it's kind of a late arrival. So these other companies are finally joining the party. In fact, Ted Sarandos just mentioned that on stage at an event today, where he said, he was surprised it's taken this long for other companies to create serious, challenging streaming rivals. I think it's a situation where the pie is so big, there is plenty for everybody. People are addicted to their phones and their tablets. We watch 5 hours of TV a day. That means there's going to be a lot of winners in this race.